Hey everybody, Basket here. Welcome to another Hypermine Modded episode. In this episode, we're going to at least start with trying to get GPS up and running. I haven't really done it before, but the main reason why is these turtles here, I want to write their go home script. And to do that, they'll need to get an idea of if they, let's say they power off here, server restarts, it needs to figure out where it should go to get all the way back here. And also that these might be in a different order. So this might be sort of their home right now, but it's possible that they might end up rotating so that they're in different spots. So I need to program some GPS stuff for that. Because these guys I could just have go all the way up and look for this chest, but these guys are a little more complicated. So I haven't done GPS before. And I think I need to probably name, you need 4 computers. So let's call them, GPS 1, 2, 3, 4, just so that they have names. And then it'll be sort of messing around trying to figure out how this works. GPS 3 and GPS 4. All right. And now, let's break these guys. Let me move my bow over. And then we'll start with GPS 1. So I'm thinking 3 of them need to be on the same plane, and the other one needs to be on a different plane. So I think what I might do is just sort of based on this design, I'm going to... Oh, they also need wireless, I bet. I'll have to make some of those, I think. What exactly is... here? Let me look at this. Okay, so I think that's part of the thing. So I need to actually go a little lower. So what I might do is put them under, like put it here. And I also have to remember that they're there so that if something breaks, I'll come back to it. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so let me do that over here as well. And then there's going to be a wireless thing there. And then this one I might leave on the same level. Okay, good. So we'll do GPS 1, 2. Let's see, and then I'll make them face the same way that the computer on top is facing. Wait, where'd it go? 3. And then 4. So this needs to be on a separate plane. So I'm actually going to... What's the system? So I put it here. So that's the main GPS. That's the one that's visible. And then this can be down here, and I'll just have to remember it's there. I might move the lever to be underneath here, just so I have an option to turn it off if I need to. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that they will need... So a GPS command... If I do host, okay, yeah, they need. All right, so I'm gonna go make some wireless. I'm pretty sure I don't have any right now. Let me double check. Down here, I don't see any. Okay, and I forget exactly how you make them. Oops, that's not how you spell it. Smooth stone and ender pearl. Okay, that's not too bad. Let me see if I have that handy. Oh, there's a bunch of ender pearls. Oh, I already had some in my inventory too. And I probably have smooth stone. Yeah, okay. So I just need 4 of these guys. So let's go ahead and make those. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Do this all on camera. Look at that. Crafting FTB stuff on camera. Okay. And now, let's put on... And I'll eventually put it into a startup script because I'm guessing that they'll restart at some point and need to make sure that it all works. Okay, so this guy, what does he do now if I tell it? Oh, this. Oh, yeah, he automatically activated the thing. Maybe that's interesting. But he couldn't tell where he was because the way it's set up is it tries to contact around to find out if it can find out, or like it tries to look for existing GPS stuff to locate itself. So what I need to do is find out what block that's on. Can I find that out from this? Is there looking at facing north? No, I don't know. Okay, so what I will do on camera with you. So I know that which thing is constant. So the Z is constant and the X. So that's going to be Z of 771. So I'll put that in. So GPS host something something. Actually, it's the same Y. So it'd be feet position is 1. Is that? I think. Feet position, eye position. Oh, I'm sorry. No, 119. We'll get there. We'll get there. So 771. So now we just need to find out. No, actually, I lied. So it's actually the first number is going to be -1954, because I'm standing like in between the block, and then the other one is it goes down as you go that way, so it's actually going to be 770. So in theory, that's right. Right, opening channel on modem on the left. Okay, so it automatically, so just by running that, it actually did the stone startup. So I think what I might do is I'm gonna do that same thing for the other GPS units, and put that all in their startup routine. Oops. So that way they'll all start up, and then I think we'll have GPS up and running. So I will do that, and I'll be right back with you guys. All right, I have all of the GPS units up and running. So assuming I did the coordinates properly. If we come into here, he's actually going to move forward 1 as part of a startup script, but then we'll do GPS locate. And he has no modem. Right. It's right. He doesn't have a modem. Okay, well, let me go make another modem. Oh, I have the stuff for it. Right. Let me, yeah, that's right. My internals don't have modems attached. Let me do that. And okay. Come on. Pop down here. Okay, so I need to actually, can I do it in here? Does that work? I don't know if that works quite the way I want. Oh, it does. Good. Okay. So we'll do, I'm just going to move forward. All right. GPS locate. Ambiguous position. Huh. Interesting. Okay, well, I'll have to read up on GPS. I thought you had 3 of them were on the same plane, and then one of them had to be on a different plane. I will read up on that real quick, and we'll see what I did wrong. Okay, I think I figured this one out. This one is actually at 781. So let me see if fixing that will fix that. So 781. Oop. Okay, and then reboot. And then let's try again. What does this guy say now? Okay, so now it actually knows its position. Good. I was worried that I had to rearrange these things, but it was just that that one had one spot that was wrong. So that means that I can close these back up, and now my turtles can know where they are. It only has a certain range, but I know it'll at least work for this stuff up here. I may set up additional GPS things, like more towards where I'm going to mine, if I start using GPS stuff with my queries so that it knows where it is, and it can continue from where it left off if it reboots. Right now it just sort of sits there. But so I'm going to close these back up, and then I'm going to start working on some code for having these guys find their home. Alright, so now that I have GPS set up, I've been working on a lot of code over the last, the last 2 seconds that you saw, but it's actually been a couple days of messing around with code. So what I've done, right now this is my test turtle. The main thing I wanted to do is make it so that these guys have homes, and then I'm able to move turtles around. But I needed to program some stuff for making it so they'd actually move around. So what I can do with this guy, as an example, so I've set his home to be there. So I'll show you. So right now I'm able to just, as it starts up, its first thing it's going to do is try to go to its home. So I can terminate that before it starts. I can go to my scripts folder, and I can do set home. So then that will, he'll move forward. With the GPS, you can find out the coordinates, but you don't know which direction it's facing. So so that whole moving forward was to find out what direction it's currently facing. So now, as a small example, if I put it here, and then I have to click on it to activate it. So now it's booting up, and then it has a 3-second timer right now, just in case I wanted to stop it. But then what it's going to do is it's going to try to figure out which way it's facing. So that was the first thing. And now it's going to go to its destination and then face the correct direction. So on a bigger scale, what I can do is, in this particular case, this ends up working. Although, if I actually put it like over one more, my current code would fail, because it would go. It tries to do the height first before it does the x. Before it does the, I guess, the x and the z. So it actually failed. But for now, I'll just put it here, because in most cases here I'm actually just going to do a straight line, so it's not really a big deal. But eventually I'm going to redo the query code. So instead of keeping track of how many it's moved over and everything, it's going to just do based on coordinates. So now I'm starting this guy up. Move off of him. So it's going to start out, figure out which way it's actually facing. So that was it's figure out the ways it's facing, and now it's going to go in the direct. I tried to go down, but it couldn't. And now it's going to go over on the X or Z or whatever it is, and then go over, and then it's going to go all the way down, and then turn around to face the correct direction for where its home is. So its home also stores the direction it should be facing. And that is, seems fairly straightforward, but it took a bunch of code and a lot of stuff to figure out, keeping track of the coordinates, and should it go, like, so when you want it to go over here, how much it has to face and rotate and all this stuff. All the code is going to be linked down below. But that's the short information on that. These guys are actually going to have 3 homes, and they're going to prioritize trying to go here if it can. Although if it's a turtle, it's already here, it'll go here. If it's a turtle already here, it'll go here. And the idea is that then these guys can be anywhere in here, and they will automatically, once they boot back up. So if they're here and then the server restarts, when the server comes back up, it's going to call them all the way back and go into position. Also, once they drop off their goodies, I can just say go home, and then it'll go back. So I'm going to work on that code now. And then I'm also going to, they can go all the way down, but I'm also going to make it so that that it'll take everything after the torches will be also a shortcut. So if it's here, or if it's here, it says go home, it's going to figure out, I should go here, turn, go this way, and then go that way. So that way it doesn't actually have to travel all the way over here, because it's going to have the shortcut. And the reason why I'm doing here is, and not just like telling them to go back right away, is because I don't want them to go back down this path. And then my plan is eventually I'm probably going to have lava source here. And so I don't want them to think that this is a path that can go down. So I'm going to actually manually say, go to here, and then go all the way over, and then find your spot. So I will work on that code. I'll modify the bus runner code. I wanted to show you, actually, so let me grab this guy. This code might be broken now, actually. We'll see. I have a different startup routine. So when I put these guys down, and he starts up, it might just error. Just error. All right. Well, sorry I broke that code, but when I put it down, if it doesn't already have its 3 homes set up, it'll say, program in my home. So you go in here, you say this is home 3, 2, and then 1. So you prioritize this one. But I broke that code while working on the code for that guy. So I will fix that code, and I'll come back to you guys in a second. Okay, I have some progress to report. It's been a couple hours now. I worked on a bunch of the code, the Turtle2 code. So that's the code that sort of is a handler for the. So if I go into, let me reboot this guy. So now instead of calling regular turtle forward, I have an API for Turtle2. Let me go into the APIs folder. And then we will edit Turtle2. So this guy keeps track of its location, which is actually also a coordinate thing I've made. So that keeps track of the X, Y, and Z, as well as the rotation that I'm at right now. And so I'm able to get the XYZ from GPS, and then get the direction you're facing. And then as you turn right using this thing, I'm also adjusting the location. So then also if you go up or down, I'm adjusting the proper coordinates. And then same here so instead of having to call GPS all the time, I'm able to just keep track of the changes from the initial stuff. So that's all that code. And then I worked on these guys' code, because what I was trying to do is make it so that they'd funnel back in, and then they'd end up in these spots. So these guys are already programmed in for where their homes are. So this one I will do with you on camera. So the first thing you do when you first make one of these, the bus runner, you will put them in the third spot. It'll notice it doesn't know its home. First the screen is in the way, but it tried to figure out which direction it's facing. So it has to move one block and then come back. So it sees it has nothing set right now. So then I'm going to set 3, because this is the third priority. So now that's set. And so I'm actually going to just break it and move it. I think I could, there might be a different way I could do that, but that's all right. This works. So then again, it moves over to figure out which direction it's facing. And then I'm going to set 2. So now 2 is in there. And then finally, the third one. So then if I come in here, and it figures out where it is, sees it doesn't have 1. So now I've set 1. They're all set. And then if I just exit, at this point it would check to see, oh yeah, okay, it is actually good to go. And now what I'm going to do is, these guys, let's suppose that the server just reset, and then it activates them. So now he's booting up. And so he has to figure out which way he's facing first. And now, for now, I don't have the little shortcuts programmed in. I just have it going all the way over to the end. But I wrote a whole routine for goto. So I can say go to that location. And I can also say go to that location and also do the rotate that you are supposed to do. So now he's figured out he's good to go. Right now there's no other program that runs. It just gets back home. So I can do the same thing for this guy. And now they will go back home, which is maybe not very exciting, but it's a lot of programming, and that opens up a lot of options. So I can program in to say, go to this coordinate here and face this direction, and I can do that with just a couple of variables, and then also say, then empty out your inventory. So this is the beginning steps for, and that little thing he did there where he came up and then turned, is he's checking to see if this is empty. And so if this guy were to not be here for some reason, and then this guy goes through his regular reboot commands, or if he's coming over, he's gonna cycle all the way over to the beginning. So this guy, he checks to see where am I, goes back to his regular spot, and then goes here. So there might be some efficiencies possibly I can do later, where he moves one and then I can tell it, well, you're already part way to where you want to go. But for now, he moves one to figure out the rotation and then goes back to wherever he was before. So then I can just take these guys. There's going to be some issues if I have a few of them boot up at the same time, probably, but we'll see how that works. Okay, now I guess they were able to resolve that fine. If there might be cases where if one logs out here, and then one logs... No, I guess they'd still resolve it. I was worried that if one logs out here and one logs out here, and then they're facing each other. But then they would just use this direction. They'd use a different direction because they try all four directions. In the case of this, these guys can't know in which way they're facing. So I won't be able to use the rotate command because to rotate I have to move in on this one of these two axes, and these guys can't. They can move up and down. So these guys, when I work on their code, I'll have to make sure that I don't try to utilize anything with rotate. But yeah, so that is that's these guys. And then I think next, actually, while I have all this cool GPS stuff programmed, I'm going to try to modify the query code. I will need to move my GPS closer. I don't know what the range is for these, and I have a feeling that those guys might be far enough away. So I will work on that code now, and then I will come back to you guys when I... so the idea, I guess, let me tell you about the idea first. And let me change my jetpack before it runs out. So the idea is... Oop, there we go. So these guys will, when they start, they will keep track of where their home is, facing towards the thing. And I've been keeping track of a lot of different variables, and it's sort of a little crazy the way it's set up. But the way it would work is that these guys would, they'd know where their home is, which is right there. And then they would also keep track of a variable in the database for where they last left off. So that if the server does restart, then these guys would be able to just go back, say, they might go back home first, I guess, and then empty out, and then continue down where they left off, which would be here, and then keep on mining. And then that'll make it so that these guys can restart, because after a server restart, these guys just sort of die. They don't really know what to do. And so I'm going to try to make it persistent. I have to make sure that these guys actually can do GPS. So let me see if from all the way over here, if you can do GPS. Okay. Oh, these guys also don't have wireless. That's another factor. I have to add wireless onto these, and then I will check to see if they can do GPS. But I will work on that code, and we will wrap up the episode with that once I have that coded. All right. So I was planning on ending this episode with a working new fancy query code, but been working on it for a couple hours now, and I've made it more complicated than I originally thought I was going to try and adjust it, and it's not quite working. So when I had this turtle here, if I put him down, he might start going crazy. So I'm not going to put him down right now. But the concept that I had was that it's going to know its starting spot, and then whatever I tell it the ending spot is, so somewhere down below or whatever. And then it'll keep on going across, and then zigzag, and then eventually it'll realize it's done with this layer, go down one layer, zigzag back around the other way. And instead of running all the way back up to a chest, if I'm using ender chests, then I can have it just keep the ender chest in its inventory when it's full, or at least partly full. It can just stop, pop out the ender chest, throw everything in the ender chest, and then grab up the ender chest again and continue on. So that will be eventually the adjustment I make. But right now, there's something in the code that's not quite working because it went this way, came back, and then didn't go all the way here, turned around, and then just kept on going, and it would have kept on probably going forever. So I have to work on that code still. But I think this episode is long enough anyway. So that this is Turtle2, or Turtle2, and GPS. Or the other way around, maybe. It's late. I'm tired. All right. Anyway, thanks for watching.